The New York Times.
California death expands timeline of viruses spread. Case earlier in year raises questions on transmission and U.S. policy. Infection turns factory towns into hot zones. Bank steered richest clients to federal aid. 135 million face starvation. That could double. Pandemic moves global unparalleled crisis of hunger. Stand on Bruegel to ouster official asserts. The social distancing origin story. It starts in the Middle Ages. A high school project advanced the idea. Trump puts Tehran on notice. The president said he had ordered the Navy to shoot down any Iranian boats that harass Navy warships. North Sea oil in trouble. Hands-on again at Amazon. Jeff Bezos, who has shunned day-to-day management, is guiding his company's response to the pandemic.
USA Today.
Meat plant infections could rise. COVID-19 outbreaks already far more widespread than believed. A rash of coronavirus outbreaks at dozens of meatpacking plants across the nation is far more extensive than previously thought, according to an exclusive review of cases by USA Today and the Midwest Center for Investigative Reporting. Your guide to the PPP application process. How long does it take for small businesses to get a Paycheck Protection Program loan aimed at keeping them afloat through the COVID-19 pandemic? Are lenders required to process PPP applications on a first-come, first-served basis? And how are independent contractors treated? No political strings attached, lockdown protesters insist. Though conservative groups have helped rallies, organizers say the only ideology is opening states. Adversaries test US during crisis. The timing of provocative moves by several of America's adversaries raises the question of whether countries such as Iran, Russia and North Korea are probing for vulnerabilities during the pandemic. A dozen Iranian speedboats brazenly swarm U.S. warships in the Persian Gulf. A Russian fighter jet buzzes a U.S. Navy surveillance plane flying over the Mediterranean Sea. North Korea fires a barrage of missiles launched from the air and ground.
Los Angeles Times.
Autopsy results point to earlier spread. Postmortem testing links February 6 death to COVID-19 as coroners across the state are re-examining deaths. New information emerging in the last week in California paints a very different picture of the spread of the novel coronavirus than official accounts have suggested. Sense of isolation reinforced. Pandemic heightens the struggles rural schools already face. Skater figured out a plan. Nagasu helps families struggling restaurant become first in LA area to get relief from a new initiative. Purifying Iran's dead, at risk to the living. Body washers uphold an Islamic custom, altered by COVID-19. Nursing homes hope to sidestep lawsuits. The industry wants immunity and has leverage. The care facilities take some pressure off hospitals. US-Iran tension on the rise again. Provocations heighten risk of conflict, even as both nations grapple with the pandemic.
Chicago Tribune.
State no closer to reopening. Trump downplays future risk despite warnings from experts. President Donald Trump on Wednesday played down the possibility that the coronavirus could be worse this fall or winter, despite medical experts' warnings that COVID-19 could combine with the flu to make a more complicated return to the United States. Pandemic powers for mayor put on pause. Lightfoot's opponents derail at least briefly her COVID-19 measure. Pedestrians running scared. Some fret about runners passing too closely on streets, but are they infection risks? When pedestrians venture outside and try to keep their distance, there's one encounter that seems unavoidable in some Chicago neighborhoods. Runners, attempting to squeeze by on narrow sidewalks, are getting too close for comfort.
The Wall Street Journal.
Fallout jeopardizes proposal to take over Victoria's Secret. Private equity firm Sycamore Partners wants to scrap its plans to take control of Victoria's Secret, a high-profile legal test of whether the coronavirus pandemic allows a buyer to walk away from an agreement reached before the outbreak. COVID-19 toll tops 10,000 at senior facilities. Nursing homes say they are struggling to get testing they need to contain outbreaks. The number of U.S. coronavirus-linked deaths in long-term care facilities, including nursing homes, has eclipsed 10,000, as nursing home owners said they are still struggling to access the testing they need to detect and curb outbreaks. Health Chief S. misstep set back virus response. Developing a test proved more complicated than anticipated. On January 29, Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar told President Trump the coronavirus epidemic was under control. PG&E CEO to depart after challenging year. Oil prices climb, lifting stocks.
Chicago Sun-Times.
Pomp and circumstances. As coronavirus endangers traditional graduations, schools consider ways to honor seniors, from streaming ceremonies to drive-up diplomas. Trump's liberate messages again put him on the side of wrong. It didn't take long before the mantra "we're all in this together" turned into chants of "let my people go." And we shouldn't be surprised that President Trump is gleefully singing along with the "let my people go" crowd. CPS CEO. Remote learning may be the new normal even in the fall. Notre Dame women's basketball coach McGraw retires after 33 seasons, 2 titles. After 33 years, 2 NCAA titles with Irish coach is retiring. After 33 years at Notre Dame, Muffet McGraw has called it quits.
The Washington Post.
Up and down recovery is likely, economists say. Bankruptcy surge, second viral wave loom. Signals point to short-lived boost from any reopening. Blood clots complicate task of saving those with virus. Doctors see problem often enough to consider using thinners from start. Scientists at Trump's side have to toe a difficult line. A death at home, then guilt. She wanted to spare her father a lonely passing in a crowded Italian hospital. Moneyed conservative nexus helps fuel shutdown protests.